I haven't watched a Marvel movie in 8 years.
My name is Daniel Kibblesmith. I remember seeing them on the shelf when I was a kid, picking up comics in the 90s and just feeling like they were too cool for me.
Now hang on a second, Mr. Kibbles and Bits. They're too cool for you. Whatever do you mean?
Like I was intimidated by, Night Thrasher who had a blade coming out of his wrist.
Wow. He sounded legitimately afraid when he said he's got a blade coming out of his wrist.
Nova was really buff. They were all the edgy characters for the 90s.
The only thing intimidating here are those wings growing out of that lady's ankle. Now that's disturbing.
New Warriors, I thought, were really interesting characters because they occupy this really cool space.
I think saying they occupy a cool space is kind of like a more hip way to say they're cool. I don't really know why people talk like that, but it's a thing now, so get with it, y'all.
They're forever young. My editors on the previous books I'd done, like Loki and Black Panther vs. Deadpool.
Oh, and don't forget to mention your magnum opus, Santa's Husband.
They have to be mentoring new warriors who are under 21 and subject to the laws that triggered the Outlawed event. This new law is making it illegal to be a vigilante under the age of 21.
Wait, is it ever legal to be a vigilante no matter how old you are? I don't know. Anyway, it's not my universe, so proceed.
The artist on New Warriors #1 is Luciano Vecchio. He designed all of the new Warriors.
Well, do us all a favor and please fire that guy, because these character designs are boring as balls.
So the first character that we're introduced to is Trailblazer. She's a group home and foster kid.
You know, there's a rumor that this is actually Dora the Explorer, after she went a little too long without exploring.
And she inherited from her grandfather a magic backpack of divine origin.
There are two things that I inherited from my father. The first is the lightning edge, and the second is the
of divine origin. Screen Time is a internet kid taken to its sort of logical conclusion. As a youth, he was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. The word screen time is only ever used in a sort of restrictive sense, and because we're doing a story about teenage rebels, a lot of the names are about teens fighting against labels that are put on them. Snowflake and Safe Space are the twins, and their names are very similar to Screen Time. It's this idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet that they don't see as derogatory, to take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor.
Oh yeah? Well, what about Soy Boy and Cucktard and Faggot and Asshole? Yeah, when are we going to see their adventures?
Safe Space is kind of a big, burly, sort of stereotypical jock. He can create force fields, but he can only trigger them.
Oh, trigger warning, y'all.
If he's protecting somebody else. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them. Snowflake has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens. The connotations of the word snowflake in our culture right now are something fragile. And this is a character who is turning it into something sharp.
Bruh, have you ever seen a snowflake? Those things melt in your hand, and they ain't sharp either.
The idea was,
hell yeah, it's official. Dim titties don't lie.
that they would mirror each other and complement each other.
I plan on living out the rest of my life with my sister. But first, we need to learn more about each other.
Yeah, these two are basically the main event. There's not much else I can say about them. There's the pink dude and the blue chick. The blue chick thinks she's not a chick. And the pink dude's supposed to be a stereotypical jock, even though that doesn't look like any jock I've ever seen.
E negative is the goth kid. When he was a baby, he got a rogue life-saving blood transfusion, we assume from Michael Morbius.
Ah, hell, Michael Moore's in this. You gotta be kidding me.
B negative also is obviously a pun. It's a blood type, which is great for a vampire character. And it's also a proud ownership of the idea of having a bad attitude.
We are now celebrating bad attitudes.
I want the people who read our New Warriors to feel all of the excitement that they felt if they read the 90s one. We want it to have big, colorful characters.
Look, I'm not really a comic book guy, but just for the record, the old characters look way cooler than the new ones.
Personality clashes, romance, a diverse cast, which is something that the New Warriors titles have always strived to make a priority. Every New Warriors comic has always felt like a reflection of the year that it came out. And I don't think we're worried about being dated. I think we're way more interested about it being now.
Yes, this is definitely a product of its times. I will give him that. But we're missing the villains. What about Orange Man? And Frog Fiend, and the biggest, baddest one of all, Common Sense. So what do you think, guys? Is this some sort of elaborate prank, or is this like a real thing? I mean, at first I was thinking, this can't be real. This got to be a joke. But seeing as the way things have gone, that's how I thought about the Disney Star Wars too. But it was serious, and that's all I have to say about that. So. Bye-bye.